Hello there and welcome back to another video tutorial on strategies, tactics, and technique tips for MMA of the week. Today's video tutorial is going to continuation of our last two tutorials, which were on indirect attacks and how to use or how to define between the difference between a feint and a fake. The first video was a really short video on about the differences, the definition between a feint and a fake, and the second video was how to use a feint to set up a power strike. Okay, so today's video is going to be more on how to. We're going to do two things. We're going to kind of recap about how to at least figure out how to use or how to make a feint, create a feint, and then we're going to go into how to use create a fake. And then the next couple video tutorials, we're going to do some sparring footages, and we're going to kind of showcase how using feints and fakes, and why you have to combine the two together on different opponents, and then afterwards explain why I did certain ones versus the others. Because in the end, when you use indirect attack, they aren't just specific moves that everybody's going to do the same way. They are. It's a very the art form, the science to using them in sparring is all very personal to you, the person sparring, and it's up to you to figure out. There's so many factors that come into play when you're doing it. How a person, what kind of defense a person does. Does he use blocking more? Does he use evasion? How fast as he is? Range control in here. The energy level that's happening between you guys unconsciously in sparring. The style of sparring he does. Is he aggressive? Is he passive? Is he evasive? What is that? Those all play a role in how you use indirect attacks. So the specific moves that you use, like fake a jab, throw a hook, fake a cross, throw a front kick. Those specific moves need to be kind of specifically adapted to that person sparring, based on your skill and based on your ability to control your emotions and connect to your opponent's emotions as well. So it's a very complex subject, very personal, requires a lot of practice and very connecting your external perception. It's more about what they're doing, not what you're doing. Okay, and from there, you can learn how to practice setting up these certain techniques and these certain indirect attack, specific feints and fakes to your sparring in here. So, okay, let's get to it. So, we're going to recap first about how to create some simple feinting. All fakes, essentially, a feint is a fake. Okay, but we define them we separate them out for learning and simplicity's sake. But all feints are some kind of luring or some kind of partial body advancement of the body in here. But essentially, when you fake, all fakes have to start with a feint. They have to. So the first thing is you might as well learn how to do some simple feints, body motions that everybody can work with in here. So I'll run through a few of them real quick in here, and then we'll get into the fake in here. So we're not going to get into controlling the distance right this moment right here to do these in here, but basically he's just going to stand there as a kind of represent a target. But simple feints you can do that are somewhat believable techniques that may happen. Remember, the feints and fakes, they have to be believable techniques that a person may think he's going to get hit with. They have to screw with his ability to feel like he's going to survive or not. Okay, so here's what most people do when they think of a feint. They'll kind of just go like this, right? But let's kind of do one of these boo type things, a boo in here, and that is a feint, in definition. But he don't respond to it because to him, he doesn't look like it as a sparring technique that's going to cause damage. Okay. On the other hand, if I do something and I do what we call like a shoulder thrust forward, and I go like this, okay, right, in here, and I actually bring my shoulder and hip forward like I'm going to throw a punch off my lead side in here like this, well, that's more believable to him, and therefore his body, twitches a lot more in here because to him, he feels like that could be something, even though it's not at this point. Okay, so that's a basic upper gate shoulder thrust forward in here. So if I do it slow in here, I'm basically just rotating right off my shoulder, throwing my pec and shoulder forward in here. And remember, all feints right now, they do a partial commitment and then they pull back. Partial commitment and pull back. Feints do not extend out here like this and then pull back. Okay? And the reason why that is a feint allows the body to be loaded. Okay? What it does is it keeps the body keeps the body further away from getting hit. And if I throw that shoulder feint forward in here, when I'm still loaded in here, I can throw a punch at the same time. Now that's not true if I go out here. So if I try to throw the feint and I go like this, I'm 3/4 of the way out here. The arm's extended from the body, so now I can't hit with a lot of force from the lead side. I can go in with the rear side, which is the option, but we're talking about feinting off off one side of the body and hitting off the same side of the body. You have to keep the body compact together, okay, which is when we're going to go into the fakes. The fakes are going to do that. The fakes are actually going to come out in here like this and get the guy to react, and then they're going to slam home. So a fake commits more, a feint doesn't. So a shoulder feint, right? The other one I can do is I can do a shoulder drop. So a shoulder drop would be getting him to react. Something's going to happen down here, and what I would do is I throw the shoulder down here like this, along and dropping my body. Keep in mind that when you guys practice this, again, I kind of know how to put my body in those positions. So I got to get my feet, my stance in the right spot, irregardless of what feint I'm going to do. So if I do that shoulder drop in here, and my feet are real narrow like this in here, or I'm standing with my legs locked out, okay, I may not be in the position to actually hit with the real attack afterwards because my body's not in the right spot in the first place. So you got to get your body in the right spot. So a shoulder drop would be coming forward in here like this and dropping down, making something think that something's coming down here. So that could be a shoulder drop, hold on to the punch, and then I could slam a lead cross home to the body in here like that. Okay, boom, here, and then bang, like so. All right, so you notice I don't commit. I don't go here. Okay, I might as well just try to hit him then. Okay, so shoulder drop, wham, like this, and then here. Okay, the other one I can do is I can do I can do it off the rear side. So we switch sides in here. I can throw the same basic idea. There, go this way a little more. I can throw a shoulder thrust forward with my rear side in here. So I can come forward this way, and do it in here like this. Getting him to think that rear shoulder is going to come from my straight rear cross in here like this. And the same thing with a shoulder drop in here. I can drop down and get him to think this is coming. So, he's got to see, I got to make him think that a big piece of mass is coming at him, a big action, like here, get ready, this is going to really hit you in here. So if I just do a little bit here like this, that's still a feint in here, okay? But again, that's more getting into the art form of how to actually use that in sparring. So these are just some ways you can practice delivering these things. So you actually could stand in front of a mirror or whatnot, or in front of your partner, or whatever, don't even have to just close your eyes and do it, and practice, throwing your shoulder forward in here with a little step in here like this. Right, in here. You gotta stay relaxed. The side that's gonna do the feinting has gotta be relaxed. Okay, the side that's not feinting in here should be loaded in here to hit. Alright, so I wanna make sure if I do that shoulder feint, that I'm not bringing this side forward like this. See, if I bring both arms forward in here, right, he's not gonna know what is the real one. Right, he's not gonna take anything as seriously. I wanna make one side, I want him to think one side is coming like this. And if he reacts to it, great, I can still land this home, or I could come in with here. But one side of the body has to advance while the other side sits back and waits. Okay, the shoulder drop would be more here, coming in like this, like that, right? And again, you're gonna retract this back like this, here, coming up top, like that. Okay, so you can practice that. All right, same thing off the rear side in here, right here, like this, shoulder drop, like that, making him think that this is going to come, but you're not releasing the punch. The punch can stay loaded back in here, boom, like this, or boom, okay? So shoulder thrust, shoulder drop. Another one I can do in here If we're talking about I can do a body drop with a whole body drops, okay, where I come in here and I just drop down like this. So the whole body drops in here, and that could represent a tackle maybe. That could resemble really, you know, maybe a grab. Just getting him, and I can do that. Okay. Well, but the ones I just gave you just a minute ago, those are more specific feinting, and those are the ones I like to work with more. But you can do a body drop in here. I don't do it a whole lot, but I can. You know, it still works in here. Punch. Okay, here. You know, drive in, tackle. I could do that. Working down the body more. A kick. Hard to do in here, so you're going to do a hip thrust. Okay, so let's go back this way again. So my lead shoulder, or my lead hip, I can do a hip thrust in here, where I'm going to bring my arms up so you can see my hip in here. I'm going to fake like I'm going to throw a front kick or a round kick. I can here like this. So I got to find a way to shorten my base up, and I'm going to put the brakes on in here like this, and the foot really doesn't come off the ground. Now if I get it up here like this, then I'm going to have to either deliver the technique or I'm going to have to pull it back. So the less I can pull it back in a feint, the better it would be for me to turn that feinting attack into a real attack. So if I feint with a front kick and I go here like this, see I'm loaded here, I go boom, right like that. But if I stick my leg out here and I go, see I can't deliver the technique as effectively because I got to wind my leg all the way back up. Okay? So hip thrust coming forward in here like this. Okay, I also can do it on a roundhouse kick in here. I can throw like this, like I'm going to go in here like that. And again, see I'm loaded in here. So if I froze right here, I technically am in a good position to do what? Kick. Okay, I'm also in a good position because I'm technically thrusting my body like the punches we just did. I could go here like this and then go from here. I could do that. So when you start to kind of learn how to do those things with your body in here, you can really create a lot of illusion that any punch that he thinks could happen off that lead side or kick can happen. I mean, I could go, you know, here like this, and then I could go throw a back fist. Or I could come here, and I could throw a hook. Right? I could go down like this, and then come up to the head. Right? I could come down here and throw a kick in here like so. Okay, those are some simple ways to deliver, you know, feinting, right? Upper body, lower body. The same thing with the rear leg. You can throw a feinting, you know, front kick in here by bringing the leg up in here like this. Again, you're just getting him to see this whole mechanism, you know, come forward in here like so. Or you can do it in the roundhouse kick version by bringing this part in here like this. Okay, so some stepping and stuff is going to be required. Again, you have to figure out how to make that work for your body. So you practice all those, you know, shoulder thrust, shoulder drop, body drop, you know, hip thrust in here. Okay, all those in here, you know, like that, and you know, start instituting those things in your sparring, and then from there, you know, practice. You want to practice learning how to hit hard with them. You got to be able to hit hard. If you look at my previous video, it shows you how to deliver, you know, a power punch using the shoulder thrust in here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into an actual fake. So I'm trying to keep this very, very simple in here. We're going to do a stutter jab. That's the most basic fake I can think of. Faking with the same side of the body and scoring with the same side of the body. So we're going to stick with the lead side because the lead side of the body is always the side of the body that's closer to the target, closest weapon to closest target principle, and so there's less commitment there, less for me getting out of position. Okay, now there's all kinds of fake, fake with a jab, land across, fake with a jab, land to here, faking to the upper gate, going low, faking low, going high, faking high, going around. Okay, those are all different applications, and we're going to go through all those as we continue these videos on the indirect attack. But keep in mind, those are, the more you have to change gates, the more you have to change directions, it's because the guy you're doing this against is better than you think. He's actually picking up on what you're doing. So the more that you have to change the angle and the body and stuff like that, the gates, means the better defense he has, okay? So we'll start in kind of a linear time in here, keep it linear progression, keep it simple, and then progress harder and harder. Okay, so a fake would be now where I'm going to extend my lead jab out here, and if he we'll just say him blocking, okay? So this is going to be different, you know, if he blocks versus he evades his head. I'll talk about that briefly if I got time. So basically right now we're not going to say control range, we'll get into that, that's the next episode in sparring. So getting him to, so starting with a fake would be more of starting with a feint, that shoulder here, but instead of that, it's this, but the arm is going to go more forward in here. So I'm actually going to throw something out here that gets him to think, okay, I got to react to this in here like that. Now I can throw it in his face and let him touch it a little bit. Okay, that all depends in here like this. But again, the difference between a feint and a fake is he's going to commit, and then it's going to pull back, and then it's going to find its way to the target. Remember, a feint doesn't. Okay, so a fake is going forward, and then pulling back, and then delivering the technique. So what I'm going to basically do is get him to block a few by probing my jab out here, in here like this. So I'm throwing my punch short enough to where I want him to actually go get it. I want him to feel like he's got to block it. I'm not trying to run him over. I'm not trying to go get in here like this. I want him to feel like he can stop it. So if I push the response line and get too close, he's going to move. I don't want him to do that. I want him to stand still. Okay, so probing my punch out here, right, getting him to reach in here like this. Okay, so I'm going to throw my punch in such a way where my body weight is behind it. And then when I feel like he's, starts to really pick up on that, then I'm going to give him the feint. Okay? Okay, see my punch extended forward? So the feint has to be with the fake. You have to start all fakes with a feint. Okay, so let me do that again in here. So I get him to kind of get into this rhythm. And all indirect attack is all broken rhythm, by the way. Get him to think this. Right here. So I shot the punch out, and I pulled it back before he blocked. Then he blocked. Now look where I'm at. The punch is retracted back. Pow! Then I deliver it. Okay? So again. Okay, that would be a stutter jab. So the punch goes out. He goes by it. Okay, now that could be here, that could be here, that could be here. That's all based on, again, that's more personal. You got to feel, the punch goes by, I retract it back just enough, got my mass behind it, and I slam this fist home. Okay, so if you're doing it like this is not going to be an effective punch. The punch still has to be effective. If I go like this, so same basic thing, getting him to react to this, and I do that, I score, but I just arm punched. My body just stood behind here. So I faked him, sure I got him, but I scored him with a wimpy arm punch. Okay, so part of the art and science of the faking is to get him to react, but put myself in a position where I can crush him with a direct attack. So indirect and direct attacks have to go together. Okay, so again, now I can start moving my body around more as I throw it to make him, get his nervous system more to think about here, and I can start breaking up the rhythm like this. Essentially, that's what you're going to do in sparring, and then I slam it home. Okay, that's a simple application of a stutter jab. Okay, so now what I want to do is let's go ahead and talk about what happens if he doesn't block and he uses evasion. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so I just went through how to deliver a basic stutter jab fake against somebody who reaches out and parries and blocks. Okay, so now we're going to take the same stutter jab and we're going to apply it on somebody who says they don't block. Let's say they use body evasion. Right? And let's say they use a body evasion like a snapback. So everybody knows what a snapback is when you try to pull your head back in here like so. Okay, you know, Conor McGregor's real good at doing that. Muhammad Ali did that, snapping their head back in here. Okay, it's a form of a body evasion. So he's not actually deflecting a punch in here. He's not reaching out. He's keeping his hand pulled back in here. You know, trying to protect his face in here like this. And as I throw the technique out to probe at him in here, right, he pulls his head back in here. So my punch is falling short. So there's nothing deflecting in here like this. Okay, so how do you deliver the fake on a guy that's like this in here? Well, in my opinion, here's the guy's doing that. The snapback is a good evasion for me to drive into him, because as he does that snapback and stays right here, right, and I realize, you know what, I don't need this. I don't really need the fake anymore as much. I can just drive a friggin' punch on him and knock him out, because the snapback won't pulling it back like this, especially if they pull it back too far, doesn't put them in a position to get out of the way. Right, a snapback just pulls your head back from the upper gate. It doesn't remove it from the upper gate. Okay? And usually the spine's in a weak position in here. Alright, now, so basically I'm doing this and he's snapping his head back in here. Then I realize, you know what? I'm just going to give him again. I'm going to get him to react and then boom, drive it home like that. Get him to freeze in that snapback position in here. Wham! And then slam that thing home. Okay, so that's an application of that. Now, what happens if he does a slip, right? He moves his head, you know, inside, outside in here. Okay, now I'm going to have to probably change the line of attack. So the first two, blocking, snapbacking, I didn't change the line, right? So he reacted to this, and then I followed the same line. Or he blocked, he reacted to this, I followed the same line. Well, now because he slips, and he puts his head off to one side in here like so, okay? Now he's not in the same line of fire as my punch in here as opposed to the other ones. So this is where I'm going to have to use a more complex fake. So I'm still going to start with the stutter jab, but I'm probably going to either follow up, either redirect it with a hook or a rear cross. So now we're going to go, so he's going to slip, boom, here, and once I get him to freeze, now what I can do is turn into a hook in here like that. So now I'm actually changing the line of attack, but still staying in the upper gate. Okay, upper gate meaning really above the, you know, clavicle or chest line and up. Okay, anything from down here we call the mid gate and then low gate. So I'm getting him to move his head over there. And then boom, come through like so. Okay? And this, you know, same thing if he moved his head the other way. Right? If he started moving his head the other way, okay, then the hook, I might be able to do the hook, but I probably could come in with the other hand, right? So it's going the other way. Right? I can wham, deliver a rear cross, right? Or I can deliver a rear hook in here. Right? Depending upon, you know, the distance you find yourself at, you know, hook and cross, you have to reach more with one or the other. I certainly don't want to do that. Okay, so that's another third way that you can actually apply the stuttering type concept. So it has to start with the feint, right? So again, stuttering, you know, with the feint, the shoulder thrust in here. Okay, at the camera right here like this. Now the fake just starts to go out more, and then I put the brakes on, and then I drive it home. Okay, that would be a very generic definition of what I consider a fake versus a feint. Okay, so that's all I want to share today on it. Next video, we'll go more into applying different feints and fakes, and I'll give you some more drills you can do to develop the power, because what I just did right there doesn't necessarily define the force behind it. There is a lot of force behind it if you let me hit you with it or hit a pad, or, you know, 'cause don't do it all the time. But this is more how to kind of put the body in a position where you can get it loose in here, where you can actually advance forward in here like that. There's more advanced ones in here, you know, that I can do with my body. So I can step my leg out here like so. You know, that's considered more feinting, right? Faking again is more, you know, depending on what you're trying to do with it. You know, fake right, go left. Okay. Fake high, go low. Remember, fake is more specific movements. Fake a jab, throw a hook. A feint is not so specific. A feint is more of a general motion that resembles one of your techniques, a jab, cross, hook, whatever, punch. So if you found the information informative, please like it, share it with your coaches, again, training partners. Again, this is kind of a longer series, but it is a lot more complex. And we're going to, again, do a couple more series on feinting and faking and try to show some sparring applications. Again, it's very personal. So when people ask me about, what do you think about this, what do you think about that, as far as applying certain martial arts sections of combat in MMA, some of it, it's more of an intellectual understanding, and then from there it's a laboratory for you to practice on it. It's not always a physical movement of some kind that you go, oh yeah, go put your foot right here. Go like this with his shoulder, he said. Well, that may not be the right spot for you. It may have to be a little different. You have to figure out how that works for you. Okay, so again, thank you very much. Again, Alton Martial Arts, Rich Alton Martial Arts on YouTube in here. And take care, and we'll see you next time.